happiness. The villagers celebrated Eloan's bravery and kindness, and the Whispering Glade became a symbol of hope and healing in their hearts. Eloan's story was told for generations, a reminder of the magic that exists when one's heart is true and selfless. And so, the village of Fernwood thrived once more, blessed by the magic of the Whispering Glade and the courageous spirit of one remarkable woman. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky was always painted in hues of twilight, there was a hidden kingdom called Lunaria. Lunaria was a wondrous place, where the moon's light bathed the land in a silvery glow, and every night was filled with gentle luminescence. The kingdom was ruled by Queen Selene, a wise and kind ruler who was known for her beauty and her deep connection with the moon. In the heart of Lunaria stood the Moonlit Palace, an elegant castle made of moonstone and silver, where the queen lived with her daughter, Princess Lyra. Lyra was a curious and adventurous young girl who loved exploring the enchanted forests and shimmering lakes of Lunaria. Though she cherished her home, she longed to discover the secrets of the world beyond the kingdom's borders. One evening, as the moon hung low and full in the sky, a mysterious figure appeared in the palace garden. It was a wandering minstrel named Elian, who had come from a distant land. Elian was known for his beautiful music and tales of faraway lands. He sang a song about a magical flower that bloomed only once every 100 years, known as the Midnight Blossom. According to legend, the Midnight Blossom had the power to grant one true wish to anyone who found it. Princess Lyra was enchanted by Elian's tale and decided that she wanted to find the Midnight Blossom and make a wish for the people of Lunaria to have everlasting happiness. With her mother's blessing, she set off on a journey with Elian, who agreed to be her guide. The journey took them through the Silver Forest, a dense woodland filled with towering trees whose leaves sparkled like stars. The forest was known for its enchantments and illusions. As they ventured deeper, the path seemed to twist and turn, and strange creatures of light and shadow danced around them. Their first challenge was a labyrinth of mirrors. Each mirror showed a different reflection, making it difficult to find the true path. Elian, with his musical skills, played a melody that calmed the reflections, allowing them to find their way through the labyrinth. The enchanted lake beyond the forest lay the enchanted lake, a vast body of shimmering water. To cross the lake, they needed to use the moonlit boats that only appeared at night. As they waited for the boats, they encountered a kindly water nymph named Maris, who was guarding the lake. Maris explained that they could only cross if they solved a riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Lyra thought for a moment and answered, fire. Maris smiled and granted them passage. They boarded a moonlit boat and sailed across the lake, the water glowing under the moon's soft light. The Mountain of Echoes on the other side of the lake, they reached the base of the Mountain of Echoes, a towering peak shrouded in mist. The Midnight Blossom was said to grow on the mountain's highest peak. The climb was steep and treacherous, and the air was thin and cold. As they climbed, they were confronted by a fierce storm of winds and ice. The storm was the work of a jealous spirit who didn't want anyone to find the Midnight Blossom. Elian's music had the power to soothe the storm, and with Lyra's courage, they pressed on through the tempest. The Midnight Blossom finally, they reached the summit, where the Midnight Blossom was said to bloom. The flower glowed with an ethereal light, its petals shimmering like silver. However, the flower was guarded by a wise old dragon named Draconis. Draconis tested Lyra's heart with a series of questions about her intentions. He wanted to ensure that her wish was selfless and pure. Lyra spoke from the heart, expressing her desire to bring happiness to her people and to share the joy she had found on her journey. Moved by her sincerity, Draconis allowed her to take the Midnight Blossom. Lyra made her wish for the eternal happiness of her people, and as she did, a radiant light spread across the land of Lunaria. The magic of the Midnight Blossom enhanced the moon's glow, filling the kingdom with a new, everlasting brilliance. The return to Lunaria. Lyra and Elian returned to Lunaria, greeted by the joyous celebration of the people. The kingdom's happiness was palpable, and the moonlight seemed even more magical than before. Queen Selene praised her daughter's bravery and kindness. Elian decided to stay in Lunaria, enchanted by the beauty of the kingdom and the warmth of its people. He became a beloved figure, sharing stories and psalms that kept the magic of the midnight blossom alive in the hearts of the people. And so, the tale of Princess Lyra and her quest for the midnight blossom became a cherished legend in Lunaria. The kingdom thrived under the everlasting moonlight, a symbol of the joy that comes from a selfless heart and the magic of a wish fulfilled. The end. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the realm of ordinary maps, there existed an enchanted forest known as Eloria. This forest was not like any other, it was alive with magic. The trees shimmered with silver leaves, and the flowers glowed softly at night. The animals spoke in melodious tones, and fairies danced on moonbeams. The heart of Eloria held a secret that was known only to a few, the Moonlit Princess. Princess Selene was her name, and she was as gentle as the moonlight that graced her kingdom. Her palace was nestled at the edge of the enchanted forest, and she had a special gift: she could speak to the creatures of the forest and command the stars in the sky. But despite her magical gifts, Selene was lonely. Her parents, the king and queen, had passed away when she was very young, leaving her to rule the kingdom with wisdom and kindness, yet always longing for a companion who understood her magical world. One evening, as the moon began to rise and paint the sky in shades of silver and blue, Princess Selene decided to wander into Eloria. She had heard whispers of a hidden glade where the magic was said to be strongest. With her heart full of hope, she ventured into the forest, guided by the gentle glow of fireflies. As she walked, the moonlight played tricks on the shadows, making the forest appear like a dreamscape. Selene followed a path lined with glowing mushrooms until she arrived at the glade. It was more beautiful than she had imagined. A crystal-clear pool sat in the center, surrounded by flowers that twinkled like stars. Suddenly, the water in the pool began to ripple, and out emerged a graceful, glowing figure, a fairy with delicate wings that sparkled like diamonds. Her name was Leora, the guardian of the moonlit magic. "Welcome, Princess Selene," Leora said with a voice like the tinkling of bells. "I have been expecting you." Selene's eyes widened with surprise and curiosity. "Expecting me? How?" Leora smiled warmly. "The moon has guided you here, for it has a message for you. There is a challenge you must face, one that will determine the fate of the enchanted forest." Selene's heart quickened. "What must I do?" Leora waved her wand, and a map appeared in the air, glowing softly. "You must find the Heartstone, a magical gem hidden deep within the forest. It holds the power to restore balance and ensure that Eloria remains enchanted. But beware, for the path is fraught with trials." Selene nodded, determination in her eyes. "I will find it." "Thank you, Leora." With that, Leora vanished, and the map floated gently into Selene's hands. She followed the directions, which led her through a maze of shimmering vines and over sparkling streams. Along the way, she encountered various creatures of Eloria, a wise old owl, a mischievous squirrel, and a group of singing birds. Each one offered her a piece of advice or a clue, guiding her closer to the Heartstone. Finally, after what felt like hours of wandering and overcoming small trials, Selene arrived at a magnificent ancient oak tree. The tree was enormous, its bark glowing faintly with magical runes. At its base was a small, hidden alcove where the Heartstone lay nestled among the roots. As Selene reached for the gem, the ground shook slightly, and a dark shadow emerged. It was a giant, fearsome serpent, guarding the Heartstone. The serpent's eyes gleamed with a cold, calculating light. "I am the guardian of the Heartstone," the serpent hissed. "To take it, you must prove your worth." Selene took a deep breath and remembered the kindness and wisdom she had been shown throughout her journey. "I don't seek the Heartstone for myself," she said. "I seek it to ensure the magic of Eloria remains safe and that its creatures can live in harmony." The serpent's gaze softened, and the shadows around it seemed to lift. "You have spoken with a true heart," the serpent said. "You may take the Heartstone, and with it, the blessing of the forest." With a gentle touch, Selene took the Heartstone, which pulsed warmly in her hand. The serpent bowed its head and vanished into the forest. As Selene returned to the glade, Leora reappeared. "You have succeeded," Leora said. "The Heartstone is now yours to protect, and with it, Eloria will remain a place of wonder and magic." Selene thanked Leora and returned to her palace, the Heartstone glowing softly beside her. The enchanted forest flourished even more brightly under her care, and the animals and fairies celebrated with joyous songs. In time, Princess Selene was no longer lonely. She had found not just a magical artifact but a deeper connection to the world she loved. The Moonlit Princess became a legend in her own right, known for her bravery, wisdom, and the way she cherished and protected the magic of Eloria. And so, Eloria remained a land of enchantment, its beauty preserved by the Moonlit Princess who understood that true magic lay not just in gems or spells, but in the heart that seeks to protect and nurture all that is wondrous and kind. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a charming kingdom nestled between misty mountains and sparkling lakes, there was a small village named Melodia. The villagers were known for their love of music, and their festivals were filled with joyful tunes and harmonious melodies. However, one piece of music had become a legend in Melodia, the lost melody, said to bring peace and happiness to all who heard it. It had been lost for centuries, and many believed it was merely a myth. In this village lived a young and talented violinist named Lila. She was renowned for her skill with the violin, but she often felt that something was missing from her music. One evening, as she practiced in her cozy home, a mysterious old woman appeared at her door. The woman was cloaked in a robe adorned with shimmering stars and carried a delicate, ornate violin case. "I have heard your music, Lila," the old woman said with a twinkle in her eye. "I believe you are destined to find the lost melody. Inside this case is an enchanted violin that holds the key to unlocking it." The old woman handed Lila the violin case and then disappeared into the night. Lila opened the case to reveal a beautiful violin crafted from golden wood and inlaid with celestial patterns. A note attached read, "To find the lost melody, you must complete 3 challenges. Only then will the melody reveal itself." The first challenge, the Whispering Forest. Lila set out the next morning, the enchanted violin tucked under her arm. The first challenge led her to the Whispering Forest, a place known for its soft, murmuring sounds and elusive paths. The trees seemed to hum with ancient tunes, creating a maze of melodies. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Lila encountered a group of talking animals who seemed to be guarding a path. The animals explained that to proceed, Lila must play a melody that harmonizes with the forest's whispers. Lila took out the enchanted violin and began to play. The violin responded with a magical, resonant sound that harmonized perfectly with the forest's murmurs. The trees parted to reveal a hidden path bathed in golden light, leading her to the next challenge. The second challenge, the Floating Isle. The path led Lila to a serene lake with a floating isle in the center, shimmering with an ethereal glow. The isle was surrounded by a ring of mist, and a small boat awaited her at the water's edge. On the floating isle stood a grand, ancient tree with a hollow trunk. Lila approached and found a musical puzzle on the tree's bark, a series of symbols that needed to be played in the correct order to unlock the way forward. Lila carefully interpreted the symbols and played the corresponding notes on her violin. Each note she played caused the tree to light up, revealing more of the symbols. After solving the puzzle, a hidden chamber opened within the tree, revealing a golden harp and a shimmering crystal. The harp strings began to resonate with Lila's music, creating a beautiful harmony. The crystal floated into her hands, and she understood that this was the key to the final challenge. The third challenge, the Cavern of Echoes. With the crystal in hand, Lila journeyed to the Cavern of Echoes, a vast underground cave known for its deep, resonant sounds. The cavern was filled with sparkling crystals that cast colorful reflections on the walls. At the heart of the cavern was a large, ornate door with a musical lock. The crystal had to be placed in a specific slot on the door to open it. Lila noticed that the door had musical notes engraved on it, each corresponding to a different tone. Lila took a deep breath and played a sequence of notes on her enchanted violin. The notes echoed through the cavern, creating a melody that resonated with the cavern's natural sounds. The door slowly creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber filled with glowing scrolls and ancient music sheets. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal holding a beautifully illustrated scroll, the Lost Melody. Lila gently picked up the scroll, and as she unrolled it, she saw the intricate musical notes and patterns that composed the Lost Melody. The revelation. With the Lost Melody in hand, Lila returned to her village. The enchanted violin seemed to hum with excitement as she played the melody for the villagers. As the music filled the air, a magical transformation took place. The village was bathed in a warm, golden light, and the people felt a deep sense of peace and joy. The Lost Melody brought harmony and happiness to everyone who heard it, and the village of Melodia flourished with renewed energy and unity. Lila's music became renowned far and wide, and she continued to play the Lost Melody, sharing its magic with all who needed it. The enchanted violin, now a treasured heirloom, was passed down through generations, and the tale of Lila and the Lost Melody became a cherished story in the kingdom. It was a reminder of the power of music and the magic that lies in pursuing one's dreams with courage and heart. And so, the legend of the Lost Melody lived on, inspiring others to seek out their own magical melodies and share them with the world, bringing light and harmony wherever they went. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a young princess named Elowen. She was known for her golden hair, which shimmered like sunlight, and her kind heart, which made her beloved by all. The kingdom of Aurelian, where she lived, was a place of peace and prosperity, protected by an ancient magic that resided in the palace, a magic so powerful that it kept the land in eternal harmony. But this magic came with a rule: it could only be unlocked by the heir to the throne on their 18th birthday, using the Golden Key, a mysterious artifact that had been passed down through generations. Without the key, the kingdom would lose its protection, and chaos would follow. On the eve of Princess Elowen's 18th birthday, when the key was to be handed to her, a terrible thing happened. The key disappeared from its resting place in the palace vault, and with it, the protective magic began to fade. The skies darkened, the winds howled, and the once beautiful fields of Aurelian began to wither. The kingdom's most trusted knights and wise men searched everywhere. But the key was nowhere to be found. Fear spread through the land, for without the key, the kingdom would fall into ruin. Elowen, though deeply saddened by the turn of events, decided she could not sit idly by while her people suffered. She was determined to find the golden key, no matter where it had been taken. Her journey began at the palace gates, where an ancient oak tree stood, its branches twisted like old hands reaching for the sky. Elowen had always felt a strange connection to this tree. As a child, she would sit under its shade and listen to the wind rustling through its leaves, almost as if it were speaking to her. Now, with the kingdom in peril, she approached the tree once again. To her surprise, the tree's bark shimmered as she touched it, and a hidden door opened at its base. Inside was a winding staircase that led deep into the earth. Without hesitation, Elowen entered, her heart racing. The staircase led to a cavern, where a figure cloaked in shadows awaited her. The figure was an old woman, with eyes that gleamed like silver and a voice that echoed softly in the cave. "I have been expecting you, Princess Elowen," the woman said, her voice kind but mysterious. "The golden key was stolen by dark forces, but there is a way to retrieve it. You must face 3 trials, each testing your courage, wisdom, and heart. Only then will you find the key and restore your kingdom." Elowen nodded, determined. "I will do whatever it takes." The old woman smiled and waved her hand, summoning a glowing path that stretched deeper into the cavern. "Follow this path, and your first trial will begin." Elowen took a deep breath and stepped onto the glowing path. It led her to a grand stone door, which opened as she approached. Inside was a room filled with mirrors, hundreds of them, each reflecting different versions of herself. Some mirrors showed her as a queen, powerful and wise. Others showed her as a child, innocent and carefree. But among the reflections, she saw something strange, a version of herself that looked frightened, lost, and unsure. Suddenly, the frightened reflection stepped out of the mirror and stood before her. "You can't do this," the reflection whispered. "You're not strong enough. You're just a girl." The kingdom is too much for you to save." Eloan's heart wavered for a moment. The words stung, and the doubts she had buried deep inside started to rise. But then she remembered the faces of her people, their trust in her, their love. She straightened her shoulders and spoke firmly. "I am strong enough. I may be young, but my heart is full of courage. I will not let fear control me." With those words, the frightened reflection faded away, and the room of mirrors disappeared. The first trial was complete. The path led up once again, leading Eloan to her second trial. This time, she found herself in a dark forest. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches blocking out the light. At the heart of the forest was a large wolf, its eyes glowing red, pacing in front of a small, trapped bird that chirped helplessly. The wolf growled as Eloan approached. "This bird has been my prey for days," it snarled. "If you want to save it, you must make a choice. Either free the bird and leave me hungry, or walk away and let me feast." Eloan's heart ached at the sight of the tiny bird, but she also knew the wolf needed to survive. She thought for a moment, then remembered her lessons about the balance of nature. She reached into her pack and pulled out some bread and cheese, offering it to the wolf. "Here, take this instead," she said. "Let the bird go free, and this will satisfy your hunger." The wolf sniffed the food and, after a moment, accepted the offering. It released the bird, which flew into the sky with a joyful song. The wolf gave Eloan a grateful look before disappearing into the forest. The second trial was complete. Eloan continued down the path, now glowing brighter. She knew her final trial was near. It led her to a small clearing where a crystal fountain stood, its water glistening in the moonlight. At the fountain's base was a riddle carved into stone. "What is more precious than gold, yet cannot be bought? What grows the more it is shared, but cannot be held?" Eloan thought carefully. The words echoed in her mind, and then she smiled. The answer was clear. "Love," she whispered. As soon as the word left her lips, the crystal fountain glowed brightly, and from the water rose the golden key. Eloan reached out and took it, feeling its warmth in her hands. She had passed the final trial. With the golden key in hand, Eloan returned to the palace. The moment she inserted the key into the ancient lock, the skies cleared, and the kingdom was restored to its former beauty. The protective magic returned, stronger than ever, and the people rejoiced. Eloan was crowned queen that very day, not because of her royal blood, but because she had proven herself worthy through her courage, wisdom, and love for her people. From that day forward, the kingdom of Aurelian flourished under her reign. And the story of the lost princess and the golden key was told for generations. And so, the kingdom lived happily ever after, thanks to the bravery of one young girl who never gave up, even when the path was dark. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between towering mountains and deep forests, there was a village where no flowers bloomed. The land was cursed. No matter how hard the villagers tried to cultivate their gardens, every seed they planted withered away. The villagers spoke of an ancient spell cast upon the land, a spell that no one had the power to break. In this village lived a young girl named Elara. Though the fields were barren and the gardens lifeless, she dreamed of a world filled with vibrant flowers and lush greenery. Her late mother had been a talented gardener, and Elara had inherited her love for plants. She longed to see the land bloom again. One night, when the moon hung high in the sky and bathed the village in a soft, silver glow, Elara decided to venture into the forest. She had heard stories of a hidden garden deep within the woods, a garden that only revealed itself on the night of the full moon. It was said that the garden held the key to lifting the curse, but no one had ever found it. With nothing to lose, Elara set off on her journey. The forest was dark and filled with shadows, but the light of the full moon guided her path. She walked for what seemed like hours, her heart pounding with anticipation and a touch of fear. Just when she thought she might never find it, the trees parted, and before her stood a gate made of twisted vines and glowing flowers. It was the moonlit garden. Elara stepped through the gate, and what she saw took her breath away. The garden was filled with flowers unlike any she had ever seen, glimmering silver petals, glowing blossoms, and shimmering leaves that sparkled like stars. The air was thick with the scent of magic and mystery, and the moonlight danced across the garden in waves. At the center of the garden was a large stone fountain, and at its base sat an old woman, her silver hair flowing like water and her eyes bright like the stars above. She smiled as Elara approached. "I have been waiting for you, child," the woman said in a voice as soft as the wind. "You seek the secret of the moonlit garden, do you not?" Elara nodded, unable to speak at first. "Yes," she whispered. "I want to lift the curse on our land. I want flowers to bloom again." The old woman studied her for a moment, then gestured for Elara to sit beside her at the fountain's edge. "The curse that has plagued your village is ancient, but it is not unbreakable," she explained. "It was cast by a jealous sorcerer long ago, one who sought to keep the beauty of the flowers for himself. He trapped the magic of the land within this garden, allowing only those with a pure heart to find it." Elara's eyes widened. "Then there is a way to free the magic?" The woman nodded. "There is. But it is not without its price." Elara frowned. "What must I do?" The old woman reached into the fountain and pulled out a single, glowing seed. It pulsed with a soft light, as if alive. "This is the seed of the moon," she said. "It holds the magic of the garden. If you plant it in the heart of your village and care for it with love, the land will bloom once more. But there is a cost. Once the seed blooms, the garden you see here will disappear forever. Its magic will return to the land, but this place will be lost." Elara looked around at the beautiful garden. It was a place of wonder, a place she could easily spend the rest of her life tending to and caring for. But then she thought of her village, of the barren fields and the people who had lost hope. She knew what she had to do. "I will plant the seed," she said with determination. "The village needs the magic more than I need this garden." The old woman smiled, her eyes twinkling with pride. "You have chosen wisely, child." With that, she handed Elara the glowing seed. "Take care of it, and remember, the magic of the land is not just in the flowers but in the love and care you give them." Elara took the seed carefully in her hands, feeling its warmth and power. She thanked the old woman and made her way back through the forest, the moonlight guiding her once again. When she returned to the village, the sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden glow over the quiet houses. Elara went to the center of the village, where a dry, cracked patch of earth lay. She knelt down and planted the seed of the moon, covering it gently with soil. For days, Elara tended to the seed, watering it, speaking to it, and nourishing it with all the love she could give. The villagers watched curiously, but none believed the barren land would ever bloom again. But on the night of the next full moon, something miraculous happened. The ground where Elara had planted the seed began to glow softly, and a tiny sprout pushed its way through the soil. As the moonlight bathed the village, the sprout grew taller and taller until it blossomed into a magnificent flower, its petals shining with the light of 100 stars. And then, as if the flower's bloom had awakened the land itself, the fields and gardens of the village began to burst with life. Flowers of every color bloomed where there had once been only dry earth. The villagers gasped in wonder as their village, once cursed and barren, became a sea of vibrant flowers and greenery. Elara smiled, her heart filled with joy. But as she looked up at the sky, she knew what had happened. The moonlit garden had disappeared, its magic now flowing through the land. The old woman's words echoed in her mind, "The magic of the land is not just in the flowers but in the love and care you give them." From that day forward, the village thrived. The gardens were always in bloom, and the people worked together to keep the land alive and healthy. Elara became known as the Flower Keeper, the one who had brought the magic back to the land. And though the moonlit garden was gone, its magic lived on in every petal, every leaf, and every blade of grass. And every full moon, Elara would sit by the village fountain, gazing at the flowers that bloomed around her, and she would remember the night she had discovered the secret of the moonlit garden. Once upon a time, in a charming village surrounded by whispering forests and rolling hills, there was a small music shop owned by a gentle man named Simon. Simon was known for his exquisite collection of musical instruments, but the most mysterious and enchanting of them all was a golden violin that hung in a corner of his shop. Legend had it that this violin possessed the power to unlock a hidden realm of magic when played with true passion and pure heart. The village was home to a spirited girl named Alara, who had a deep love for music. She had grown up hearing tales of the hidden realm and dreamed of discovering its wonders. One sunny afternoon, Alara visited Simon's shop and was immediately drawn to the golden violin. Its beauty and the stories surrounding it intrigued her. Simon noticed Alara's fascination and shared the legend of the violin. This violin, he said, was crafted by ancient elves and holds the key to a hidden realm. To unlock it, you must play a melody that comes from your heart. The realm will reveal itself only to those who play with true emotion and intent. Alara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I want to try," she said eagerly. Simon handed her the violin with a smile, wishing her good luck. With the violin in hand, Alara found a quiet spot by a babbling brook and began to play. As her bow danced across the strings, a beautiful, enchanting melody filled the air. The notes seemed to weave a magical tapestry, and with each note, the world around her shimmered and shifted. Suddenly, a shimmering portal appeared before her, framed by glowing vines and flowers. Alara took a deep breath and stepped through the portal. She found herself in a breathtaking realm of wonder. The sky was a swirling canvas of colors, and the ground was covered in sparkling grass. Enchanted creatures, fairies, talking animals, and majestic unicorns roamed freely. At the heart of this realm stood a grand castle made of crystal, reflecting the magical light of the realm. Alara approached the castle and was greeted by a wise and elegant queen with a crown made of starlight. The queen introduced herself as Queen Lyra, the ruler of the hidden realm. "Welcome, Alara," Queen Lyra said with a warm smile. "You have unlocked our realm with your beautiful music. To keep our magic alive, you must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and spirit." Alara nodded, ready to take on the challenge. Queen Lyra handed her a small, enchanted locket. "This locket will guide you through the tasks and help you find the magic within yourself." Task 1: The Enchanted Grove. The first task led Alara to the Enchanted Grove, a once vibrant area now shrouded in darkness. The grove had lost its magic, and its trees and flowers were withered and dull. To restore it, Alara needed to rekindle the grove's enchantment by finding and nurturing a special flower known as the moonblossom. Alara searched the grove and discovered a small, hidden glade where the moonblossom lay dormant. She gently planted it in the center of the grove and watered it with a potion provided by the locket. As the potion touched the flower, it began to glow with a soft, silver light. The grove responded, and slowly, the trees and flowers came back to life, their colors brightening and their magic returning. Task 2: The Whispering Lake. The second task took Alara to the Whispering Lake, a serene body of water that had lost its soothing whispers. The lake's magic had faded, and its waters were still and silent. To restore the whispers, Alara had to retrieve a magical pearl from the lake's depths and return it to the surface. Alara carefully waded into the lake and found the pearl nestled among the rocks at the bottom. She gently lifted it and placed it in a special basin on the shore. As the pearl was placed in the basin, the lake's waters began to ripple, and soft whispers filled the air once more. The whispers told tales of the realm's history and its enchanting magic. Task 3: The Celestial Garden. The final task led Alara to the Celestial Garden, a grand garden with plants that had become frozen and lifeless. The garden's magic had been sealed by a spell of frost. To break the spell, Alara needed to find a key hidden within the garden that could thaw the magic and bring the garden back to life. Alara searched through the garden and discovered the key buried under a blanket of frost. She used the locket to unlock the key's power, and as she did, the frost began to melt, revealing the vibrant, magical plants beneath. The garden bloomed with celestial flowers, their petals glowing with a soft, radiant light. With all tasks completed, the hidden realm's magic was fully restored. The sky sparkled with stars, the ground shimmered with enchantment, and the creatures rejoiced in the newfound beauty. Queen Lyra thanked Elara for her bravery and kindness. "You have brought our realm back to life," Queen Lyra said. "As a token of our gratitude, we offer you a gift." The queen presented Elara with a golden harp. "This harp holds the power of our realm's magic. It will allow you to visit us whenever you wish and share the enchantment with your world." Elara returned to her village with the golden harp and a heart full of wonder. She shared the story of her adventure and the magic of the hidden realm with her friends and family. The realm's enchantment spread beyond its borders, inspiring others to seek out their own adventures and embrace the magic within their hearts. And so, the tale of Elara and the enchanted melody became a cherished story in Bramblewood, a reminder that true magic is found in the courage, kindness, and spirit of those who dare to dream and explore. The hidden realm continued to shine brightly, forever grateful to the brave girl who had restored its forgotten wonder. Once upon a time, in a land where golden fields met whispering woods, there was a small, serene village named Everglow. This village was known for its beautiful gardens, where flowers of every color bloomed in harmony. However, one flower was particularly special, the moonflower. It only bloomed once every 100 years under the full moon's light and was said to hold the power to reveal hidden truths. In the village lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Elara. She had always been fascinated by the moonflower and the legend surrounding it. The most enchanting legend spoke of a lost kingdom that lay hidden somewhere beyond the woods, revealed only when the moonflower bloomed. As the centennial full moon approached, Elara decided she wanted to uncover the truth of the moonflower in the lost kingdom. With a heart full of hope and a spirit of adventure, she prepared for her journey, bringing with her only a lantern and a small satchel of provisions. The first challenge, the enchanted woods. On the night of the full moon, Elara ventured into the woods where the moonflower was said to bloom. The woods were dense and mysterious, with trees whose branches seemed to whisper secrets. As Elara walked, she noticed that the moonlight created shifting patterns on the forest floor, leading her deeper into the woods. Suddenly, a soft, melodic voice echoed through the trees. "To find the moonflower, you must first navigate the enchanted woods. Follow the path of moonlight, but beware of illusions." Elara followed the moonlit path, her lantern lighting the way. The path twisted and turned, and occasionally, it seemed to fork in impossible directions. Elara remembered the voices warning about illusions and stayed focused on the moonlight's true path, ignoring the distracting shadows and mirages. Eventually, she reached a clearing where the moonflower bloomed in all its radiant glory. The flower's petals glowed softly, casting a magical light around the clearing. Elara approached and carefully plucked a single petal, which shimmered in her hand. The second challenge, the guardian of the moonflower. As Elara admired the moonflower's beauty, a shimmering figure emerged from the shadows. It was a graceful guardian spirit, with wings like silver gossamer. The guardian spoke, "You have found the moonflower, but to reveal the lost kingdom, you must prove your heart's purity and courage." The guardian presented Elara with a delicate silver box. Inside this box is a key to the lost kingdom, but it will only open when you complete a task of great significance. Find the heartstone of the moonlight within the forest. It will unlock the way. The heartstone of the moonlight was a legendary gem said to possess incredible magic. Elara accepted the challenge and set off deeper into the forest, guided by the light of her lantern and the soft glow of the moonflower petal. The third challenge, the moonlit grove. After hours of searching, Elara arrived at a moonlit grove, where the ground was covered in sparkling dew and the air was filled with the scent of blooming nightshade flowers. In the center of the grove was a large, ancient tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the trunk was a small, crystal-clear pool. Floating in the pool was the heartstone of the moonlight, glowing with a soft, mesmerizing light. But the pool was surrounded by a circle of enchanted thorns that seemed to pulse with magic. Elara carefully approached the pool and noticed that the thorns moved in response to her presence. She realized that she needed to find a way to calm the magic protecting the heartstone. Taking a deep breath, she sang a gentle, soothing song she remembered from her childhood. The song was one of peace and love, and as she sang, the thorns began to recede. With the path now clear, Elara reached into the pool and retrieved the Heartstone. It felt warm and comforting in her hand, its light filling her with a sense of hope and determination. The revelation of the Lost Kingdom. With the Heartstone in hand, Elara returned to the Moonflower clearing. The Guardian spirit awaited her, and upon seeing the Heartstone, the Guardian smiled. "You have shown great courage and purity of heart. The Lost Kingdom is now ready to reveal itself." Elara placed the Moonflower petal and the Heartstone together on the ground. As she did, a magnificent transformation occurred. The clearing shimmered and changed, revealing a hidden entrance beneath the Moonflower. The ground parted to unveil a grand staircase leading downward, bathed in soft, silvery light. Elara descended the staircase and found herself in the heart of a breathtaking, lost kingdom. The kingdom was filled with shimmering palaces, lush gardens, and sparkling fountains. The inhabitants of the kingdom, magical creatures and kind-hearted beings, welcomed Elara with open arms. The king of the Lost Kingdom, a wise and gentle ruler, greeted Elara and said, "You have brought the Moonflower's magic back to our realm. We have been hidden for centuries, waiting for someone with a pure heart to find us." Elara spent time in the Lost Kingdom, learning about its wonders and the magic it held. The kingdom was a place of dreams and harmony, and Elara realized that the true magic lay in the kindness and courage she had shown on her journey. When it was time to return to her village, the king gifted Elara a small, enchanted token, a charm that would allow her to visit the Lost Kingdom whenever she wished. Elara returned to Everglow with a heart full of joy and stories of her incredible adventure. The legend of the Moonflower and the Lost Kingdom became a cherished tale in the village, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. Elara's story reminded everyone of the magic that lay hidden within their own hearts and the wonders that awaited those who dared to dream. And so, the village of Everglow continued to bloom with beauty and wonder, and Elara's adventures became a timeless tale of courage, magic, and the discovery of hidden realms. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there was a place known as the Moonlit Grove. This magical grove was hidden deep within the enchanted forest, a realm where the trees whispered secrets and moonlight wove through the leaves like silver threads. The Moonlit Grove was a sanctuary for magical creatures, and its heart was home to the Moonstone, a mystical gem that radiated gentle light and granted wishes to those with pure intentions. For generations, the Moonstone had been protected by the kind-hearted guardian, a graceful fairy named Elara. Under her care, the grove flourished, and the land around it thrived with enchantment and harmony. One day, as the sun set and the moon began to rise, a shadowy figure crept into the enchanted forest. This figure was Morwen, a cunning sorceress who had long coveted the Moonstone's power. Morwen had heard tales of its magic and sought to claim it for herself, intending to use it to spread darkness across the land. As the moonlight illuminated the grove, Morwen used her dark magic to cloak herself in invisibility and approach the Moonstone. Elara, sensing the intrusion, was determined to protect the sacred gem. She called upon her loyal friends for help: Cedric, a brave woodcutter with a heart of gold; Lyra, a clever and resourceful weaver; and Bramble, a mischievous but good-hearted squirrel. Together, they set out to uncover the sorceress's plan and thwart her intentions. The team ventured into the depths of the enchanted forest, guided by the soft glow of moonlight. They faced several challenges along the way: treacherous vines that tried to ensnare them, illusions that led them astray, and enchanted creatures who tested their resolve. Through it all, Cedric used his strength and courage to clear the path, Lyra's quick thinking solved puzzles and navigated traps, and Bramble's agility and sharp senses helped them avoid danger. At last, they reached the Moonlit Grove, where the Moonstone stood aglow. Morwen, still hidden by her spell, was in the process of casting a dark enchantment over the Moonstone to corrupt its magic. Elara confronted her, her voice trembling but resolute. "Morwen, your darkness will not prevail here," Elara declared. "The Moonstone is a beacon of hope and light. It will never be tainted by your evil." Morwen laughed, her voice echoing through the grove. "You are too late, Elara. The Moonstone's power will soon be mine, and with it, I shall bring eternal night to this land." With a wave of her hand, Morwen unleashed a wave of shadowy magic toward the Moonstone. Elara, Cedric, Lyra, and Bramble sprang into action. Cedric used his axe to deflect the dark magic, while Lyra weaved a protective barrier with enchanted threads she had spun. Bramble darted around, creating distractions and leading the magical creatures of the forest to join the fight. In the midst of the chaos, Lyra noticed that Morwen's cloak of invisibility was shimmering in the moonlight. "We must reveal her true form," Lyra shouted. With her weaving skills, she crafted a net of moonlight and tossed it towards the invisible sorceress. The net shimmered brightly, unveiling Morwen's form and weakening her dark enchantments. With Morwen now visible and vulnerable, Elara called upon the Moonstone's pure magic. The Moonstone, sensing the courage and unity of its protectors, responded with a radiant burst of light. The light enveloped Morwen, dispelling her dark magic and breaking her spell. Defeated, Morwen was forced to flee, vowing to return another day. The Moonstone's light continued to shine brightly, its magic restored and protected. The grove, once again bathed in moonlight, was safe and serene. Elara, Cedric, Lyra, and Bramble celebrated their victory, their hearts full of gratitude and joy. They knew that the moonlit grove would remain a place of peace and magic, thanks to their bravery and teamwork. As the moon rose high in the sky, the enchanted forest came alive with the sounds of celebration. The creatures of the forest danced and sang in honor of their heroes. And the moonlight glistened on the leaves, casting a warm and comforting glow over the land. Queen Seraphina, the ruler of the kingdom, came to the grove to express her thanks. She honored Elara and her friends with medals of valor and proclaimed them the official protectors of the moonlit grove. From that day on, the moonlit grove continued to be a place of wonder and enchantment, where the Moonstone's magic brought hope and dreams to all who visited. Elara, Cedric, Lyra, and Bramble remained vigilant, always ready to defend the grove from any threat. And so, in the kingdom where moonlight wove through the trees and magic filled the air, the moonlit grove stood as a beacon of light and hope, forever protected by the courage of those who cherished its magic. The end. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between towering mountains, there was a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her adventurous spirit and her fascination with the mysteries of nature. The villagers often spoke of an ancient tale about a hidden crystal cavern deep within the mountains, said to be filled with magical crystals that granted extraordinary powers. Mira's curiosity about the cavern was unquenchable. She dreamed of discovering its secrets and perhaps finding a way to help her village, which had been struggling with a long-lasting drought. Despite the villagers' warnings about the dangers of venturing into the mountains, Mira felt a deep sense of determination. One crisp morning, as the first light of dawn broke over the mountains, Mira set out on her journey. She carried a small satchel with essential supplies, a map she had drawn from old tales, some food, and a sturdy walking stick. The journey to the cavern was said to be treacherous, filled with natural obstacles and magical creatures. As Mira ascended the rugged mountain paths, she encountered her first challenge, a deep, narrow gorge with a swirling river below. The only way across was a rickety bridge made of vines and wooden planks. Mira's heart raced as she stepped onto the bridge, which swayed dangerously with each step. She took a deep breath, focused on her goal, and carefully made her way across, her courage guiding her safely to the other side. Further along the path, Mira came upon a dense forest with trees that seemed to whisper secrets. The forest was known to be enchanted, and Mira had to solve a riddle to find the correct path. The trees murmured, "To find the way, listen well, the path you seek is where the shadows dwell." Mira noticed the shadows of the trees forming a distinct pattern on the ground. She followed the pattern, which led her to a hidden pathway illuminated by soft, glowing mushrooms. After several days of travel, Mira arrived at the entrance to the crystal cavern. The cavern was hidden behind a curtain of cascading water that sparkled like diamonds in the sunlight. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, Mira stepped through the waterfall and entered the cavern. Inside, the cavern was a breathtaking sight. Crystals of every color imaginable adorned the walls, emitting a soft, mesmerizing glow. The air was filled with a sweet, melodious hum, as if the crystals themselves were singing. Mira marveled at the beauty and stepped cautiously further into the cavern. At the heart of the cavern stood a large, glowing crystal known as the Heart of the Mountain. According to the legends, this crystal held the power to end the drought that plagued the village. However, the Heart of the Mountain was guarded by a wise and ancient dragon named Orion. The dragon's scales shone like the crystals, and his eyes glinted with both wisdom and a hint of sadness. Orion greeted Mira with a deep, rumbling voice. "Welcome, brave traveler. You have come seeking the Heart of the Mountain. To earn its power, you must prove your worth." Mira nodded, determined to fulfill her quest. "What must I do?" Orion explained that Mira needed to complete 3 tasks to show her true intentions and purity of heart. Task 1, the Trial of Purity. The first task was to retrieve a crystal from a submerged pool within the cavern, where the waters were enchanted to test the purity of her heart. Mira swam to the depths of the pool, feeling the cool, magical water around her. She found the crystal nestled among the rocks, glowing with a soft, warm light. Her intent was pure, and she returned to Orion with the crystal, passing the trial. Task 2, the Trial of Wisdom. The second task required Mira to solve a complex puzzle formed by shifting crystal patterns on the cavern floor. The puzzle solution revealed a hidden passage. Mira studied the patterns and, using her knowledge of the legends and her intuition, solved the puzzle, revealing the way to the next chamber. Task 3, the Trial of Compassion. For the final task, Orion asked Mira to use the Heart of the Mountain's power to heal a wounded magical creature in the cavern, a young phoenix whose fiery feathers were dimmed by a dark spell. Mira approached the phoenix with empathy and care, using her hands to channel the energy of the Heart of the Mountain. The phoenix's feathers brightened, and it regained its strength and vitality. Having completed all 3 tasks, Mira had demonstrated her courage, wisdom, and compassion. Orion, moved by her sincerity and selflessness, allowed her to take a shard of the Heart of the Mountain. With the shard in hand, Mira journeyed back to her village. As she approached, the once dry land began to change. The shard's magic worked wonders, bringing life-giving water to the parched earth. The rivers and streams flowed again, and the fields bloomed with vibrant crops. The villagers rejoiced, celebrating Mira's bravery and the return of prosperity. Mira's adventure became a cherished tale in the village, a story of courage, wisdom, and compassion that inspired future generations. As for Mira, she often returned to the mountains, not only to visit Orion but also to share the magic of the Crystal Cavern with those in need. The Heart of the Mountain's power lived on, reminding everyone of the magic that resides within acts of kindness and the strength of a pure heart. And so, under the nurturing rain and the blossoming fields, the village thrived, and Mira's legacy of bravery and wisdom continued to shine brightly. The end. Once upon a time, in a picturesque village named Bramblebrook, there was a grand old manor that had stood empty for as long as anyone could remember. The manor was surrounded by an overgrown garden, filled with tangled vines and ancient trees. The villagers often spoke of the manor's secret garden, a place rumored to be magical, but no one had ever seen it or understood its secrets. In Bramblebrook lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Elara. She had always been fascinated by the stories of the manor and dreamed of discovering its hidden wonders. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the edge of the village, Elara found an old, rusted key half buried in the dirt. The key was ornately decorated with silver filigree and seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Elara picked up the key and examined it closely. Could this be the key to the secret garden? She wondered aloud. Determined to find out, she made her way to the manor, her heart pounding with excitement. The manor's gate creaked open with a push, revealing the overgrown garden beyond. Elara carefully navigated through the thick underbrush, her eyes searching for any sign of a lock that might match her key. After some time, she stumbled upon a small, ivy-covered door hidden behind a cluster of ancient rose bushes. With trembling hands, Elara inserted the silver key into the lock. The door clicked open, and she gently pushed it ajar. As she stepped through the doorway, she was greeted by the most enchanting sight, the secret garden. The garden was a breathtaking expanse of vibrant flowers, sparkling fountains, and glowing lanterns that floated gently in the air. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blossoms, and the soft hum of bees created a soothing melody. At the center of the garden was a grand, marble fountain with a crystal-clear pool, and beside it, a wise old tortoise was lounging in the sun. The tortoise looked up and greeted Alara with a warm smile. "Welcome, young one. I am Tiberius, the guardian of the secret garden. You have found the key and entered the garden, but to unlock its true magic, you must complete 3 tasks." Alara, both thrilled and curious, nodded eagerly. "What are the tasks, Tiberius?" Tiberius explained the tasks. 1. The task of light. Find the sunflower of eternal light and bring its glow to the garden's darkest corner. 2. The task of harmony. Restore the melody of the garden by helping the birds sing their lost song. 3. The task of wisdom. Solve the riddle of the enchanted stone to reveal the heart of the garden's magic. Alara set off on her first task. She wandered through the garden, searching for the sunflower of eternal light. After some time, she found it growing in a hidden alcove, its golden petals shimmering brightly. With great care, Alara carried the sunflower to the garden's darkest corner, where it bathed the area in a warm, radiant light, dispelling the shadows. For the second task, Alara listened to the melodious chirping of the birds. She noticed that their songs were disjointed and incomplete. Determined to help, she followed the birds through the garden, listening to their calls. She discovered that each bird had a part of a song. Alara gently guided them to a central clearing, where the birds harmonized their tunes. Slowly, the garden was filled with a beautiful, enchanting melody, bringing joy to every corner. Finally, for the third task, Alara approached the enchanted stone, a large, smooth rock with ancient runes carved into its surface. Tiberius had mentioned a riddle, so Alara studied the runes carefully. The riddle was inscribed on the stone. "By day I sleep beneath the sun's bright rays, by night I dream in the moon's gentle gaze. I dance with shadows and laugh with light, what am I, who's seen in day and night?" Alara pondered the riddle, her mind racing through possibilities. Then she had a sudden realization. "A reflection," she exclaimed. "The answer is a reflection." As soon as Alara spoke the answer, the enchanted stone began to glow, and a hidden compartment opened, revealing a shimmering, heart-shaped crystal. The crystal floated gently into the air and began to pulse with a soft, harmonious light. Tiberius appeared beside Alara, his eyes twinkling with approval. "You have completed the tasks with courage and wisdom. This crystal holds the heart of the garden's magic. It will ensure that the garden's beauty and enchantment are preserved." Alara accepted the crystal with gratitude. Tiberius explained that the garden's magic would now be a part of her, and she could return to visit whenever she wished. With a heart full of joy, Alara bid farewell to Tiberius and left the garden. She returned to the village, where she shared her adventure and the story of the magical garden. The village celebrated her bravery and kindness, and the secret garden became a place of wonder and inspiration for all who heard of it. The garden's magic continued to bloom, and Alara's adventures became a beloved tale in Bramblebrook, a reminder that with courage, harmony, and wisdom, even the most hidden of secrets can be revealed. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village nestled between rolling hills and a deep, ancient forest, there was a hidden meadow known only to a few. This meadow, called Moonlit Meadow, was said to be blessed by the moon itself. Under the light of the full moon, the meadow sparkled with a silvery glow, and the flowers danced in the night breeze. It was a place of magic and wonder, where dreams were said to come true. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Lily. Lily loved the meadow more than anything. She would often sneak away from her chores to visit it, marveling at its beauty and the gentle luminescence that filled the night air. The villagers, though aware of the meadow's enchantment, rarely visited it, as they believed it was a place of old legends and magic. One evening, as the full moon cast its silvery light over the land, Lily noticed something unusual. The meadow's glow seemed to flicker, and a faint, sorrowful melody drifted through the air. Concerned, she followed the sound to the heart of the meadow, where she found an ancient, moonlit well. By the well, sitting forlornly, was a small, delicate fairy with wings like gossamer. The fairy was weeping, her tears falling into the well and making ripples in the water. Lily approached gently, her heart aching at the sight. "What's wrong?" she asked softly. The fairy looked up with tear-filled eyes. "I am Faye, the guardian of this meadow," she said. "The magic of the moonlit meadow is fading. An old curse has been awakened, and without the moonstone, the magic will disappear forever." Lily was determined to help. "What is the moonstone? Where can I find it?" Faye explained that the moonstone was a powerful gem hidden deep within the enchanted forest. It was guarded by a dragon named Draconis, who was once a protector of the land but had become grumpy and withdrawn. To retrieve the moonstone, Lily would need to pass 3 trials set by Draconis to prove her worth. Without hesitation, Lily set out for the enchanted forest. As she journeyed deeper into the woods, she encountered magical creatures who offered her guidance. A wise old owl gave her a map, a mischievous squirrel shared a secret path, and a kindly deer showed her the way through the dense foliage. After a long and tiring journey, Lily reached the entrance to Draconis' lair, a cave hidden behind a waterfall. As she entered, she saw Draconis, a magnificent dragon with scales that shimmered like precious gems. He eyed her with curiosity and a hint of suspicion. "Why have you come?" Draconis rumbled, his voice echoing through the cave. Lily stepped forward bravely. "I seek the moonstone to save the moonlit meadow. Please let me prove my worth." Draconis, intrigued by her courage, agreed to the trials. Trial 1, the trial of courage. The first trial was to cross a rickety, ancient bridge over a chasm filled with swirling mist. The bridge swayed dangerously with each step. Lily's heart pounded, but she focused on her goal and carefully made her way across. Her determination and courage saw her through the trial. Trial 2, the trial of wisdom. The second trial took place in a room filled with mirrors. Each mirror reflected different scenes, some of joy, others of sorrow, and some even of illusions. Lily had to find the true reflection among them. She remembered the owl's advice about looking beyond appearances and used her wisdom to choose the correct mirror, revealing a hidden door. Trial 3, the trial of compassion. The final trial was to help a magical creature in distress. In a small clearing, Lily found a young phoenix with a broken wing. Gently, she used her knowledge of herbs to heal the phoenix. The phoenix, grateful, gave Lily a feather that glowed with a warm light. Having completed all 3 trials, Lily returned to Draconis, who was impressed by her bravery, wisdom, and compassion. He handed her the moonstone, a gem that shimmered with an inner light. With the moonstone in hand, Lily made her way back to the moonlit meadow. As she arrived, she found Faye waiting anxiously. Lily placed the moonstone in the ancient well, and a brilliant light erupted from it, spreading across the meadow. The flowers glowed even brighter, and the air was filled with a sweet fragrance. The magic of the meadow was restored, and the silvery glow returned, brighter than ever. Faye, now beaming with joy, thanked Lily for her bravery and kindness. The village celebrated Lily's return, and the moonlit meadow became a place of wonder and joy for all. The villagers visited it often, and its magic continued to inspire and enchant them. Lily's story was passed down through generations, a tale of courage, wisdom, and compassion that reminded everyone of the magic that could be found in even the most ordinary of places. And so, under the light of the moonlit meadow flourished, a beacon of hope and magic in a world full of wonder. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the trees whispered secrets and the rivers danced with moonlight, there was a small village named Eldergrove. This village was known for its lush forests, where every tree had a story and every creature had a song. But most enchanting of all was the Whispering Forest, a magical woodland that no one had dared to enter for centuries. The Whispering Forest was said to be home to ancient magic and guarded by a wise and mysterious guardian named Eldon. Eldon was a gentle spirit who only revealed himself to those with pure hearts and brave spirits. The villagers had always lived in harmony with the forest, but they had never ventured into its depths, respecting the old tales that spoke of its magic and mystery. In the village of Eldergrove lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her love of nature and her desire to help others. She had heard countless stories about the Whispering Forest and had always dreamed of exploring it. The forest had always fascinated her, especially because her grandmother had once told her about a hidden treasure within it that could heal any illness. One day, Lyra's grandmother fell ill with a mysterious ailment that no doctor could cure. Desperate to help her, Lyra remembered the old stories and decided that she must find the hidden treasure in the Whispering Forest to save her grandmother. With a heart full of hope and determination, Lyra prepared for her journey. She packed a small bag with essentials, a map, some food, and a special locket her grandmother had given her. The locket was said to hold the power of protection and was enchanted with a touch of the forest's magic. As the sun set and the moon rose high, casting a silvery glow over the land, Lyra ventured towards the edge of the Whispering Forest. The trees seemed to hum softly as she approached, their leaves rustling in a gentle breeze. She took a deep breath and stepped into the forest, guided by the soft, ethereal light. The forest was unlike anything Lyra had ever seen. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches stretching out like welcoming arms. The ground was carpeted with moss that glowed faintly, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. Every now and then, Lyra would hear a soft whisper or a faint melody, as if the forest itself was speaking to her. As Lyra walked deeper into the forest, she came across a clearing with a crystal-clear pond at its center. The pond sparkled with a magical light, and a delicate bridge made of vines and flowers arched over it. Standing at the edge of the pond was Eldon, the guardian of the forest. He was a tall figure with a flowing robe of leaves and a crown of blossoms, his eyes shining with wisdom and kindness. Eldon smiled warmly at Lyra. "Welcome, brave traveler. I have been waiting for you. The forest has sensed your pure heart and your noble quest." Lyra was both amazed and nervous. "I seek the hidden treasure of the Whispering Forest. My grandmother is ill, and I believe that this treasure can heal her." Eldon nodded solemnly. "The treasure you seek is indeed powerful, but it is not easily found. The forest will only reveal it to those who prove themselves worthy through acts of kindness and bravery." Lyra listened intently as Eldon continued, "You must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and your spirit. Only then will the forest guide you to the treasure." With determination in her eyes, Lyra agreed to the tasks. Eldon led her to the first challenge, a grove where magical creatures were trapped in enchanted vines. They had been imprisoned by a dark spell that had spread through the forest. Lyra saw that the vines were thick and tangled, but she did not hesitate. She worked tirelessly, carefully unraveling the vines and freeing the creatures. The animals, including fairies and small woodland creatures, chirped and fluttered with joy as they were set free. Lyra felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing she had helped them. For the second task, Eldon took Lyra to a hill where a giant tree had fallen, blocking the path for many travelers. The tree was enormous, and Lyra knew it would be a great challenge to move it. With Eldon's guidance, she used all her strength and creativity, using ropes and branches to slowly and carefully clear the path. As Lyra worked, she felt the support of the forest. The animals and fairies she had helped earlier came to lend a hand, and together they managed to move the tree. The path was cleared, and travelers would once again be able to pass through. The final task was the most challenging. Eldon led Lyra to a dark part of the forest where the magic had begun to fade. The plants were wilting, and the air was heavy with sadness. Lyra needed to restore the magic by planting enchanted seeds that would bring the forest back to life. Lyra worked with dedication, planting the seeds and watering them with the enchanted water from the pond. As she did so, she sang a soothing song that she remembered from her grandmother's tales. The magic began to return, and the forest started to bloom with vibrant colors once again. Having completed the 3 tasks, Lyra returned to Eldon. The guardian was pleased and led her to a hidden glade where a beautiful chest lay covered in vines. Eldon gently opened the chest, revealing a glowing crystal vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "This is the treasure you seek," Eldon said. "It has the power to heal and restore. Use it with love and it will bring healing to your grandmother." Lyra thanked Eldon and the forest with all her heart. She took the vial and made her way back to Eldergrove. With the vial in hand, she hurried home and administered the healing liquid to her grandmother. As the liquid touched her lips, her grandmother's color returned, and she awoke with a smile. The village celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness, and the Whispering Forest continued to thrive, its magic renewed by the love and courage of a young girl. The forest remained a place of wonder and enchantment, a testament to the power of pure hearts and selfless deeds. From then on, the villagers spoke of Lyra's adventure as a cherished tale, reminding everyone that the greatest magic of all is found in the strength of kindness and the power of the heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains kissed the sky and rivers sang sweet songs, there was a realm called Emberland. Emberland was a land of eternal twilight, bathed in the warm glow of a magical sunset that never truly set. The source of this perpetual twilight was the enchanted fire, a mystical flame that burned in the heart of the ancient Ember Tree, a colossal tree with branches that reached towards the heavens. The enchanted fire was tended by a majestic phoenix named Solara. Solara was known for her radiant feathers that shimmered with every color of the sunset and her ability to control the flames that kept Emberland forever bathed in golden light. The people of Emberland lived in peace and harmony, their lives enriched by the warmth and light of the enchanted fire. One day, a dark and unexpected storm rolled into Emberland, bringing with it fierce winds and chilling rain. The storm was unlike any the kingdom had ever seen, and it was said that a shadowy sorcerer from a distant land had unleashed it upon the peaceful realm. The storm caused the enchanted fire to flicker and wane, casting the land into darkness for the first time in centuries. In a small village at the edge of Emberland lived a brave young girl named Lyra. Lyra had always admired the stories of Solara and the enchanted fire, and she was deeply saddened to see her land plunged into darkness. Determined to restore the light and warmth to her kingdom, Lyra decided to seek out Solara and find a way to reignite the enchanted fire. Lyra set off on her journey through the rain-soaked landscape, guided by the dim glow of the fading twilight. She traveled through forests where the trees seemed to shiver in the cold, crossed rivers swollen with rain, and climbed rugged mountains where the winds howled like ghosts. Finally, she reached the base of the ancient Ember Tree, where Solara perched in a nest of golden branches. The phoenix looked at Lyra with eyes that burned like embers. "Brave child," Solara said, "the enchanted fire is fading because the storm has stolen its heart, the eternal flame. To restore the fire and save Emberland, you must venture into the heart of the storm and retrieve the eternal flame from the sorcerer who has taken it." With courage in her heart, Lyra agreed to the quest. Solara gifted her a small, enchanted lantern that glowed with a soft, warm light. "This lantern will guide you through the storm and protect you from its cold," Solara said. Lyra set off into the storm, the lantern's light cutting through the darkness. As she journeyed deeper into the storm, she faced numerous challenges. The wind howled, threatening to extinguish her lantern, and the rain lashed out like icy needles. Yet, with each step, Lyra's determination grew stronger. At last, Lyra reached the sorcerer's dark fortress, a towering structure made of jagged stone and swirling shadows. Inside the fortress, the eternal flame flickered weakly within a crystal prism, guarded by the sorcerer himself. The sorcerer, cloaked in shadows and adorned with dark robes, glared at Lyra with eyes like cold steel. "You dare to challenge me?" the sorcerer roared. "This flame is mine now, and it will never return to your precious kingdom." Lyra held up her lantern, its warm light pushing back the encroaching darkness. "The light of hope and courage cannot be extinguished by shadows," she declared. "I will not leave without the eternal flame." The sorcerer sneered and conjured a whirlwind of shadows to engulf Lyra. But Lyra, with the lantern's light guiding her, faced the storm of darkness with unwavering resolve. She reached the crystal prism and, with a burst of courage, she reached out and grasped the eternal flame. As she touched the flame, it surged with renewed strength, pushing back the shadows and breaking the sorcerer's hold. The fortress began to crumble, and the sorcerer vanished into the darkness, his power broken. Lyra emerged from the fortress with the eternal flame safely in her hands. The storm began to dissipate, and the skies cleared. The lantern's light grew brighter as Lyra made her way back to the Ember Tree. When she returned to the ancient tree, Solara welcomed her with a joyful cry. The phoenix took the eternal flame and placed it back into the heart of the enchanted fire. The fire blazed with renewed brilliance, casting a golden light that restored the twilight to Emberland. The kingdom rejoiced as the warmth and light returned. The people celebrated Lyra's bravery, and the land thrived once more. The story of her journey in the battle against the dark sorcerer became a cherished tale, a reminder of the power of hope, courage, and the enduring light that resides within the hearts of those who dare to face the darkness. And so, Emberland continued to bask in the eternal glow of the enchanted fire, with Solara as its guardian and Lyra's tale as a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. Once upon a time, in a land of rolling meadows and tranquil lakes, there was a village called Havenwood. Nestled between the edges of an ancient, whispering forest and the shimmering waters of Lake Celestia, Havenwood was known for its peaceful way of life and the magical twilight tree that stood at the heart of the village. The twilight tree was no ordinary tree. Its leaves were a delicate shade of silver, and it was said that its branches held the secrets of the stars. Each evening at twilight, the tree would glow softly, casting a calming light that bathed the village in a gentle, silvery hue. At the edge of Havenwood lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her adventurous spirit and her curiosity about the world beyond the village. Though she loved her home, she often wondered about the mysteries that lay hidden in the forest. Her grandmother had once told her that the twilight tree was linked to an ancient magic that could only be understood by the bravest of hearts. One crisp autumn evening, as the first stars began to twinkle, Mira noticed that the twilight tree's glow was fading. Concerned, she went to the village elder, a wise woman named Seraphina, who had tended to the twilight tree for many years. Seraphina looked troubled. The twilight tree's light is fading because its magic is waning. There is a legend that says the tree's light can be restored by finding a hidden gem in the enchanted forest, a gem known as the Moonstone. Mira's heart raced with determination. I'll find the Moonstone and restore the tree's light. Seraphina nodded. The journey will be perilous, but the path is guided by the light of the twilight tree. Be brave, Mira. With that, Mira set off towards the enchanted forest, carrying a small lantern that glowed with the last of the twilight tree's magic. The forest was alive with sounds and shimmering lights, and the deeper she went, the more enchanting and mysterious it became. As Mira ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered three magical beings who each presented her with a challenge. First, she met a mischievous sprite named Tilly, who guarded a bridge made of moonlight. Tilly fluttered around, her eyes twinkling with mischief. To cross the bridge, you must answer my riddle, she said. What has a heart that doesn't beat? Tilly asked. Mira thought carefully and then answered, an artichoke. Tilly clapped her hands in delight. You are clever and kind. You may pass. The second challenge was a test of courage. Mira came upon a dark, tangled thicket where a grumpy old gnome named Bramble lived. Bramble had been cursed to guard a path and would not let anyone pass unless they showed true bravery. Mira took a deep breath and, with her lantern held high, stepped into the darkness. She used her lantern to light her way, and though the shadows seemed daunting, she walked through with unwavering resolve. When she emerged on the other side, Bramble nodded with approval and allowed her to continue. The final challenge was a test of compassion. Mira found herself in a glade where the Moonstone was said to be hidden. However, the Moonstone was guarded by a sorrowful dragon named Zephyr. Zephyr's scales were dulled, and he seemed deeply unhappy. Mira approached the dragon gently. Why are you sad, Zephyr? Zephyr sighed. I guard the Moonstone, but my own magic has faded. I fear I no longer have the strength to keep it safe. Mira felt a pang of sympathy. I will help you, she said. She sang a soothing melody, her voice filled with warmth and kindness. As she sang, the dragon's scales began to shimmer once more, and his sadness lifted. Grateful, Zephyr revealed the Moonstone, which glowed with a brilliant, calming light. You have restored my spirit. Take the Moonstone and return to your village. With the Moonstone in hand, Mira made her way back to Havenwood. The twilight tree's light was now a mere glimmer, and the villagers watched anxiously as she approached. Mira placed the moonstone at the base of the twilight tree, and its light began to intensify. The tree's branches sparkled with a new brilliance, and the village was bathed in a radiant glow that was even more enchanting than before. The villagers cheered and celebrated Mira's bravery and compassion. The twilight tree's magic was restored, and its light became a symbol of hope and unity for the village. Mira's adventure became a cherished story, reminding everyone of the power of courage, compassion, and the light that shines from within. And so, Havenwood continued to thrive under the gentle, magical glow of the twilight tree, with Mira's tale becoming a beacon of inspiration for all who heard it. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between rolling hills and a deep, ancient forest, there was a grand castle ruled by King Cedric. The kingdom was known for its lush gardens, sparkling rivers, and the legendary whispering tree that stood in the heart of the enchanted forest. The tree was said to hold ancient secrets and wisdom, but only those with pure hearts could understand its whispers. King Cedric had a daughter named Princess Eliza, who was as brave as she was kind. One day, the kingdom was struck by a terrible drought, and the once thriving lands began to wither. The people feared that the whispering tree's magic, which was said to bring prosperity to the land, had been lost or stolen. Desperate to save her people, Princess Eliza decided to embark on a quest to find out what had happened to the whispering tree and restore its magic. Her father, though worried, knew she was the only one brave enough for the task. He gave her a magical amulet that would protect her and guide her on her journey. Princess Eliza set out early one morning, her heart full of determination. As she ventured into the enchanted forest, the trees seemed to part for her, guiding her deeper into their ancient depths. She soon came across a shimmering river, where she met a friendly, talking fish named Finn. Finn was troubled and revealed that the river, which was once clear and full of life, had grown dark and murky. "The whispering tree's magic has been stolen," Finn said. "I saw dark shadows moving towards the heart of the forest. You must hurry." Thanking Finn, Princess Eliza continued her journey. The forest grew denser and darker, but the amulet around her neck glowed brightly, lighting her path. She soon arrived at a grove where she encountered a wise old turtle named Tiberius. Tiberius was known for his knowledge of the forest and its secrets. To find the whispering tree, Tiberius said, "You must face 3 trials. The first trial is the trial of courage. You must cross the Bridge of Shadows, which tests the bravery of all who attempt it." Princess Eliza approached the Bridge of Shadows, a narrow, rickety bridge suspended over a deep chasm. The shadows below seemed to twist and writhe, creating an eerie and frightening atmosphere. Taking a deep breath, Princess Eliza stepped onto the bridge. Her courage guided her through, and despite the terrifying shadows, she crossed safely. Her next challenge was the trial of kindness. Tiberius led her to a glade where a family of deer was trapped in a net. The net was enchanted, and the more the deer struggled, the tighter it became. Princess Eliza used her gentle touch and cleverness to free the deer and calm them. In gratitude, the lead deer, a majestic stag, gifted her a golden leaf that would grant her strength and protection. With the golden leaf in hand, Princess Eliza continued to the final trial, the trial of wisdom. She arrived at a stone altar with an ancient book and a riddle inscribed upon it. The riddle was, "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you cannot go outside. What am I?" Princess Eliza pondered the riddle and realized the answer was a piano. She spoke the answer aloud, and the stone altar revealed a hidden passage leading deeper into the forest. The passage led to a dark cavern where the whispering tree stood, its once vibrant leaves now wilted and dark. A shadowy figure, the dark sorcerer Mulvadair, was attempting to drain the tree's magic into a dark crystal. Princess Eliza, with the amulet glowing brightly in the golden leaf in hand, confronted Mulvadair. "The magic of the whispering tree belongs to the land and its people," she declared. "You have no right to take it." Mulvadair sneered and tried to cast a spell to defend himself, but the amulet's magic protected Princess Eliza. She used the golden leaf to channel the tree's remaining magic and counter Movader's dark forces. A fierce battle of light and shadow ensued, but Princess Eliza's bravery and pure heart proved stronger. In a final, desperate move, Movader tried to escape. But Princess Eliza used the amulet to trap him within a protective barrier. The dark crystal shattered, and the stolen magic flowed back to the Whispering Tree. Its leaves began to glow and shimmer once more, restoring its power and beauty. With the Whispering Tree's magic returned, the enchanted forest flourished once again. The drought in the kingdom ended, and the lands began to heal. Princess Eliza returned to the castle, where she was celebrated as a hero. The people of the kingdom rejoiced, and the Whispering Tree's wisdom and magic continued to bless the land. King Cedric was proud of his daughter's bravery and selflessness. Princess Eliza's adventure became a legendary tale, teaching the kingdom that courage, kindness, and wisdom could overcome even the darkest of challenges. And so, the kingdom thrived, bathed in the light of the Whispering Tree, where the magic of the forest and the bravery of one young princess created a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene village called Moonhaven, nestled between emerald hills and silvery lakes, there was a tradition that the villagers held dear. Every year, on the night of the harvest moon, they would light a lantern and release it into the sky. This lantern, known as the Midnight Lantern, was believed to carry their wishes to the stars. Among the villagers was a young boy named Finn. Finn was kind-hearted and curious, with a deep fascination for the stars. He had always listened to the tales of the Midnight Lantern but had never seen one sent to the heavens. This year, however, Finn was determined to make a wish for something very special. His beloved grandmother, who was wise and gentle, had fallen ill, and he wished for her recovery. As the harvest moon approached, the village bustled with preparations. Lanterns were crafted with care, adorned with intricate patterns and vibrant colors. Finn worked tirelessly on his lantern, decorating it with images of stars, moons, and a small heart at the center. He wrote his wish on a delicate piece of parchment and placed it inside the lantern. On the night of the harvest moon, the village gathered in the meadow to release their lanterns. The moon shone brightly, casting a magical glow over the land. One by one, the lanterns were lit, and their warm, golden lights floated gently into the sky. The air was filled with whispers of hope and dreams. When it was Finn's turn, he held his lantern close to his heart. With a silent prayer for his grandmother, he lit the lantern and watched as it began its ascent. The lantern floated upward, its light shimmering against the dark, velvet sky. But as it rose higher, a sudden gust of wind swept it off course, sending it drifting towards the dense forest at the edge of the village. Finn's heart sank as he saw his lantern veer off track. Determined to retrieve it, he set off into the forest, guided only by the soft glow of the moon. The forest was thick with ancient trees and tangled undergrowth, but Finn pressed on, following the flickering light of his lantern. As he ventured deeper, the moonlight began to fade, replaced by an otherworldly glow that seemed to emanate from the heart of the forest. Finn approached cautiously and found himself standing before a hidden grove bathed in a soft, blue light. In the center of the grove stood a magnificent, ancient tree with silver bark and shimmering leaves. It was the Tree of Whispers, a legendary tree said to possess magical properties. To Finn's amazement, his lantern was gently resting on a bed of moss beneath the tree. As he reached out to retrieve it, the tree's leaves rustled, and a soft voice spoke. "Welcome, young dreamer. I am the guardian of the Tree of Whispers. You have ventured far to recover your lantern. What is it that you seek?" Finn, though surprised, gathered his courage. "I wish for my grandmother to get better. She is very ill, and I want to bring her back to health." The guardian's eyes, which sparkled like distant stars, softened. "A noble wish indeed. To grant it, I must ask for a small favor in return. The Midnight Lantern is a bridge between dreams and reality. To restore balance and ensure your wish is fulfilled, you must perform an act of selflessness within this grove." Finn nodded, eager to help. The guardian pointed to a nearby pool of crystal-clear water, where a small, injured creature, a delicate moonlight deer with a wounded wing, lay resting. This creature is in need of healing. If you help it, the magic of the lantern will be fully restored." Without hesitation, Finn approached the moonlight deer. He gently tended to its wound with a cloth from his satchel and offered it water from the crystal pool. He sang softly to soothe the creature, and his kindness seemed to make the grove itself brighten with warmth. The moonlight deer's wing began to heal, and it looked up at Finn with grateful eyes. The guardian, observing with approval, smiled. "You have shown great compassion and bravery. The magic of the midnight lantern will now be amplified." With a wave of the guardian's hand, the lantern glowed brighter than ever. Finn took it carefully and thanked the guardian. As he made his way back to the village, the lantern floated beside him, its light guiding him through the forest. When Finn returned to Moonhaven, the villagers gathered around, awestruck by the sight of the lantern's radiant glow. Finn placed the lantern gently on the ground and watched as it ascended once more into the sky, its light mingling with the stars. The next morning, Finn's grandmother began to recover. Her strength returned, and her smile was brighter than ever. The village rejoiced, grateful for the miracle. From that day forward, Finn's story became a cherished legend in Moonhaven, a tale of courage, kindness, and the magic of selfless wishes. The midnight lantern continued to light up the sky every harvest moon, reminding everyone that even the smallest act of kindness could shine as brightly as the stars. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between vast forests and rolling hills, there lived a girl named Mira. Mira wasn't like the other children in the village, who were content playing games or helping their parents with daily chores. She spent her nights gazing at the stars, always fascinated by the way they twinkled like little lanterns in the endless sky. But what truly captivated Mira wasn't just the stars, it was the legend her grandmother used to tell her. According to the legend, somewhere high above the clouds, there existed a hidden kingdom known as the Realm of the Night. In this mysterious realm, the stars were living beings, and among them was a bird made of pure silver, whose feathers controlled the night. They said that whoever found one of the silver bird's feathers would be granted a single wish, and that wish could change their life forever. One summer night, as Mira lay on a hill, watching the stars like she always did, she noticed something unusual. A streak of silver flashed across the sky, not like a shooting star, but something brighter, something closer. It shimmered and fell slowly toward the forest at the edge of the village. Mira's heart raced. "It must be the silver feather," she whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Without hesitation, she jumped to her feet and ran toward the forest, determined to find it. She had always dreamt of this moment, the chance to make a wish and see the world beyond her small village. The forest was dark, but Mira was brave. She followed the soft glow that guided her deeper into the trees, her excitement pushing aside any fear. Soon, she reached a clearing, and there, lying on the ground, was a feather, shimmering with a silvery light so soft it looked like it was made of moonlight itself. As Mira bent down to pick it up, a voice echoed through the trees. "Be careful, child. The feather holds great power, but wishes are not given lightly." Startled, Mira looked around and saw a figure stepping out of the shadows. It was an old woman, dressed in a cloak of stars, her eyes twinkling with ancient knowledge. Mira had heard whispers of this woman, the Star Keeper, a guardian of the Realm of the Night. The old woman smiled kindly. "You found the silver feather, but before you make your wish, you must understand, a wish from the feather comes with a choice. It is not as simple as it seems." Mira, filled with curiosity, asked, "What choice must I make?" The Star Keeper's voice was gentle but firm. "You can wish for anything your heart desires, for wealth, for adventure, or for knowledge beyond measure. But there is another choice. You can return the feather to the silver bird and bring peace to the stars. If you choose this path, the night sky will become brighter, and all the dreams and hopes of the world will be carried on the wings of the stars." Mira's mind swirled with possibilities. She had always wanted to travel, to see the world beyond the hills, to meet new people and explore new places. With the feather, she could make that wish come true. But the thought of brightening the night sky for everyone, of helping others' dreams soar, tugged at her heart. She looked at the Star Keeper and asked, What would happen if I returned the feather? The old woman's eyes sparkled with pride. If you return the feather, the stars will shine brighter than ever before. You will help guide the lost and the dreamers, and your own heart will be filled with the light of 1,000 stars. You may not travel the world, but you will always be a part of something far greater. Mira held the feather in her hands, feeling its cool, gentle light. She closed her eyes and thought of all the nights she had spent watching the stars, dreaming of a world beyond her own. But then, she thought of the people in her village, her friends, her family, and all the children who, like her, gazed up at the stars with wonder. They deserved to see the sky glow with hope, to believe in their dreams. Taking a deep breath, she opened her eyes and smiled. I want to return the feather. I want the stars to shine brighter for everyone. The Star Keeper's smile deepened, and she nodded. A wise choice, my child. With a wave of her hand, the Star Keeper summoned a soft breeze that lifted the silver feather from Myra's hand. It floated gently upward, shimmering brighter and brighter as it ascended into the sky. Mira watched in awe as the feather merged with the stars, and suddenly, the entire night sky seemed to come alive with light. The stars glowed with a brilliance she had never seen before, casting a gentle, golden light over the forest and the village beyond. The Star Keeper placed a hand on Myra's shoulder. You have given the world a great gift. And though you did not make a wish for yourself, the stars will always remember you. As the old woman spoke, a single star fell from the sky and hovered above Myra's head. It glowed softly before settling into her hands, warm and comforting. This is your star, the Star Keeper said. Whenever you feel lost or uncertain, its light will guide you. Mira clutched the star to her chest, her heart full of gratitude. Thank you, she whispered. The Star Keeper nodded and began to fade into the night, her form dissolving into the stars themselves. Remember, child, you are never alone. The stars will always be with you. Mira watched as the Star Keeper disappeared, leaving her alone in the clearing. But she didn't feel alone. The sky above was brighter than ever, and her own star glowed softly in her hands. She returned to the village, her heart light and her spirit full of joy, knowing she had made the right choice. From that night on, the stars shone brighter in the kingdom, and people from far and wide came to see the magical sky. Mira grew up, her dreams forever tied to the stars, and whenever she felt the need for guidance, she would look up at the night sky and see her star twinkling back at her, reminding her of the night she gave the world a little more light. And so, Myra's story became a legend of its own, a tale of selflessness. Of choosing the light of others over oneself, and of the eternal bond between a girl and the stars. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between a shimmering lake and an ancient forest, there was a mysterious place known as the Whispering Grove. The villagers often spoke of it with a mix of awe and caution. It was said that the grove was enchanted, and that its trees could speak in hushed whispers that carried secrets and wisdom from ages past. In the village lived a young girl named Lyra, who had always been captivated by stories of the Whispering Grove. Her grandmother, a wise and gentle woman, often told her tales of the grove's magical properties and the wonders hidden within. Lyra's curiosity grew with each story, and she longed to discover the secrets for herself. One bright summer morning, with the sun casting golden rays over the landscape, Lyra decided it was time to venture into the grove. She packed a small satchel with bread, cheese, and a flask of water, and set off towards the forest, her heart fluttering with excitement. As she entered the grove, the trees seemed to sway gently, as if welcoming her. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the soft hum of nature. Lyra walked along a winding path, guided by the whispers that seemed to guide her steps. Suddenly, the path led her to a clearing where a grand, ancient tree stood. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, and its branches reached out like protective arms. At the base of the tree was a large, intricately carved wooden door. Lyra approached the door, feeling a mixture of wonder and trepidation. The door was slightly ajar, and Lyra could hear a soft, melodious voice from within. She gently pushed the door open and stepped inside. The interior was illuminated by a soft, golden light, and she found herself in a circular room lined with shelves of glowing, crystal orbs. In the center of the room was a small table with a single, ornate book resting upon it. Lyra approached the book and saw that it was bound in silver and embossed with a symbol of a tree intertwined with stars. She carefully opened it, and the pages seemed to shimmer with a magical light. As she turned the pages, Lyra found that they were filled with beautiful illustrations and stories of ancient times. Each story was about people who had come to the Whispering Grove seeking wisdom and guidance. Lyra read about a hero who had saved his village from a terrible drought and a wise queen who had used the grove's knowledge to bring peace to her kingdom. But as Lyra continued to read, she came across a story that stood out. It was about a hidden treasure that could only be found by someone with a pure heart and noble intentions. The treasure was said to be hidden deep within the grove and was protected by a magical riddle. Lyra's heart raced with excitement. She felt a deep connection to the story and knew that this was the reason she had come to the Whispering Grove. She decided to seek out the treasure, guided by the clues in the book. Following the instructions, Lyra ventured deeper into the grove. The whispers of the trees seemed to grow louder, guiding her steps. She came to a small, babbling brook that sparkled with a silvery light. On the other side of the brook was a stone archway covered in vines. Lyra crossed the brook and stepped through the archway. She found herself in a hidden glen filled with glowing flowers and a crystal-clear pond. At the center of the pond was a small island with a pedestal. On the pedestal rested a delicate, golden chest. With a sense of reverence, Lyra approached the chest. It was adorned with intricate designs of stars and trees, just like the book. The chest had a lock shaped like a star, and Lyra realized that she needed to solve the magical riddle to open it. The riddle was written in elegant script on the chest: "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lyra thought hard, recalling the stories from the book and the whispers of the grove. Finally, she had an epiphany and whispered, "Fire." The chest clicked open, revealing a shimmering golden light. Inside, Lyra found a beautiful, crystal pendant in the shape of a tree. The pendant glowed with a warm, soothing light. As Lyra held the pendant, she felt a surge of peace and joy. She knew that the true treasure was not the pendant itself, but the wisdom and courage she had gained on her journey. She thanked the Whispering Grove and the magical beings who had guided her. Lyra returned to the village with the pendant, which she chose to keep as a symbol of her adventure. The village thrived with newfound hope and prosperity, and the stories of Lyra's bravery became a cherished part of their lore. And so, the Whispering Grove remained a place of wonder and wisdom, its secrets revealed only to those with a pure heart and a noble spirit. Lyra's story was a reminder that the greatest treasures are often found through the journey of discovery and the kindness we share with others. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by towering mountains and lush forests, lay the village of Bramblewood. The village was known for its vibrant meadows and peaceful streams, but it held a long-forgotten secret, a kingdom that had once thrived but had vanished under a mysterious enchantment. The only clue to this kingdom's existence was a legend about a moonlit crown, a magical artifact said to reveal the hidden kingdom's location when worn under the full moon. In Bramblewood lived a brave and compassionate girl named Lila. She had grown up hearing stories of the lost kingdom and dreamed of discovering its secrets. One evening, as the full moon cast its silvery glow over the village, Lila decided to embark on an adventure to find the moonlit crown and uncover the mystery of the lost kingdom. Lila ventured into the ancient forest that bordered Bramblewood, guided by the light of the moon and her determination. After hours of walking, she stumbled upon an old stone archway entwined with ivy. At the base of the archway was a small pedestal with a beautifully crafted crown resting upon it. The crown was adorned with moonstones that glowed softly in the moonlight. With a sense of awe and excitement, Lila carefully placed the crown upon her head. As she did, the archway shimmered and revealed a hidden path that led into the heart of the forest. She followed the path, which wound through enchanted groves and over sparkling streams, until she reached the entrance of a grand, hidden kingdom. The kingdom was bathed in the soft light of the full moon, and its buildings sparkled like stars. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming night flowers, and the sound of gentle music drifted through the streets. Lila marveled at the beauty of the kingdom, but it was clear that something was missing. The kingdom was eerily silent, as if its magic had been put to sleep. As Lila explored the kingdom, she came across a regal figure, a queen with a radiant presence, sitting on a majestic throne. The queen had a crown that matched the moonlit crown Lila wore, and her eyes held a mixture of sadness and hope. "Welcome, brave Lila," the queen said in a voice like a soft melody. "I am Queen Seraphina, the last ruler of this kingdom. Long ago, our kingdom was placed under a spell of eternal slumber to protect it from a great threat. Only someone with a pure heart and a courageous spirit can awaken us." Lila listened intently as Queen Seraphina continued, "To lift the enchantment and restore our kingdom, you must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your bravery, kindness, and wisdom." Lila nodded and prepared for the challenge. Queen Seraphina gave her a small, ornate box with a moonstone in its center. "This box will help guide you on your journey. Task 1, the Forgotten Garden." The first task led Lila to the Forgotten Garden, a once beautiful area now overrun with weeds and brambles. The garden's magic had faded, and it was in desperate need of revival. Lila discovered that the garden could be restored by planting enchanted seeds and nurturing them with care. She found the seeds buried beneath the overgrown plants and began planting them in neat rows. With gentle hands, she watered the seeds with a special mixture of moonlight and dew provided by the box. As Lila worked, she sang soft, encouraging songs. Slowly, the garden began to bloom with vibrant flowers and lush greenery, bringing the garden back to life. Task 2, the Shattered Fountain. The second task brought Lila to a grand fountain in the center of the kingdom. The fountain's waters had dried up, and its once beautiful mosaic was cracked and broken. To restore the fountain, Lila needed to repair the mosaic and refill it with enchanted water. She found pieces of the mosaic scattered around and carefully reassembled them, using her keen eye and steady hands. Next, she used the moonstone's light to purify the water and fill the fountain. As the fountain's waters flowed once more, the mosaic gleamed with renewed beauty, and the fountain began to sing a soft, harmonious tune. Task 3, the Echoing Chamber. The final task led Lila to the Echoing Chamber, a grand hall with high, vaulted ceilings and walls covered in intricate carvings. The chamber was filled with an eerie silence, and its magic had been silenced by a spell of stillness. Lila discovered that the chamber's magic could be restored by solving a riddle inscribed on the wall. The riddle read, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have nobody, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Lila thought carefully and realized that the answer was an echo. She spoke the answer aloud, and as she did, the chamber's walls began to hum with a gentle resonance. The echo grew louder and more harmonious, filling the chamber with a beautiful, melodic sound. With all tasks completed, the enchantment over the kingdom was lifted. The streets were filled with laughter and music, and the kingdom's magic returned in full splendor. Queen Seraphina thanked Lila for her bravery and kindness. "You have awakened our kingdom and restored its magic," the queen said. "As a token of our gratitude, we offer you a gift." Queen Seraphina presented Lila with a moonstone pendant. "This pendant will allow you to visit our kingdom whenever you wish and share its magic with the world." Lila returned to Bramblewood with the moonstone pendant and a heart full of wonder. She shared the story of her adventure and the magic of the lost kingdom with her village. The kingdom's enchantment spread beyond its borders, inspiring others to seek out their own adventures and embrace the magic within their hearts. And so, the tale of Lila and the Moonlit Crown became a beloved story in Bramblewood, a reminder that true magic is found in the courage, kindness, and wisdom of those who dare to dream and explore. The kingdom continued to shine brightly under the moonlight, forever grateful to the brave girl who had restored its forgotten wonder. Once upon a time, in a mystical land far beyond the realm of ordinary maps, there was a kingdom known as Everglow. This kingdom was famous for its beauty and serenity, with lush forests, sparkling rivers, and meadows that seemed to be eternally bathed in twilight. The heart of Everglow was a majestic tree called the Twilight Tree, whose branches glowed with a soft, ethereal light as day turned to night. The Twilight Tree was said to possess ancient magic, but its secrets remained hidden to all but the wisest of sages. In the village of Lumine, near the base of the Twilight Tree, lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tree and its glowing branches. Her grandmother had told her tales of its magic and the promise it held, but the true secret of the Twilight Tree remained a mystery. One evening, as twilight began to envelop the land, Lyra noticed that the light from the Twilight Tree seemed dimmer than usual. Concerned, she decided to investigate. She gathered a small satchel of supplies, including her grandmother's old lantern and a map of the kingdom, and set off towards the Twilight Tree. As she approached, the sky darkened, and the soft glow of the tree grew fainter. The once vibrant colors of the tree's leaves were now muted. Lyra felt a pang of worry but pressed on. As she reached the base of the Twilight Tree, she saw a figure sitting in the shadows, an old man with a long, silver beard and a robe that sparkled like stardust. "Welcome, Lyra," the old man said with a voice as gentle as the night breeze. "I am Aemon, the guardian of the Twilight Tree. You have come at a time of great need." Lyra was startled but quickly composed herself. "What's happened to the Twilight Tree? Why is its light fading?" Aemon sighed. "The Twilight Tree's magic is linked to the balance of our world. Its light fades because the heart of the tree, an ancient crystal hidden deep within its roots, has been stolen. Without it, the tree's power is waning. And our kingdom is in danger." Lyra's heart sank. "How can we restore the crystal and save the tree?" "The crystal is hidden in the Caves of Echoes, a place shrouded in mystery and guarded by trials," Aemon explained. "To retrieve it, you must face 3 challenges that test your courage, wisdom, and heart. Only then can you return the crystal and restore the Twilight Tree's magic." Determined to save the kingdom, Lyra agreed to undertake the quest. Aemon handed her a shimmering compass that would guide her through the trials and advised her to trust her instincts. The first trial led Lyra to the edge of the Whispering Mist, a foggy expanse that seemed to shift and change. The compass directed her to a hidden path, but the mists whispered doubts and fears. Lyra focused on her inner strength and recalled her grandmother's teachings about bravery. By following her heart and trusting the compass, she navigated through the mist and reached the entrance to the Caves of Echoes. Inside the caves, the second trial awaited, a vast chasm with a bridge of shimmering light. The bridge was fragile and would only support those who could prove their wisdom. A voice echoed from the darkness, presenting Lyra with a riddle. "What can fill a room but takes up no space, and can be given away but never taken?" Lyra thought carefully and answered, "Light." The bridge solidified, allowing her to cross safely. At the end of the bridge, Lyra encountered the final trial, the guardian of the crystal, a majestic phoenix with fiery feathers. The phoenix challenged Lyra to demonstrate her heart's true intentions. Lyra spoke of her love for her village, her desire to restore the Twilight Tree's light, and her hope for a brighter future for all. Moved by Lyra's sincerity, the phoenix allowed her to retrieve the ancient crystal. Lyra carefully placed the crystal in a protective pouch and made her way back to the Twilight Tree. Upon returning, Aemon helped her place the crystal back into its rightful place within the tree's roots. The Twilight Tree began to glow with renewed brilliance, its light spreading across the kingdom. The fading colors were restored, and the kingdom of Everglow was once again bathed in its magical twilight. The villagers of Lumine celebrated Lyra's bravery and her role in saving their home. The Twilight Tree's light now shone brighter than ever, and the kingdom prospered under its gentle glow. Lyra returned to her home, knowing that she had fulfilled a great purpose. The Twilight Tree stood as a symbol of hope and balance, its magic forever intertwined with the courage and kindness of a young girl who dared to embark on a quest to save her world. And so, in the kingdom of Everglow, where the twilight was eternal and the magic of the Twilight Tree thrived, Lyra and her people lived happily ever after, guided by the enduring light of their beloved tree.